I hitched across town with my backpack containing the few remaining possessions that I had. 2 pairs of pants, 3 t-shirts, some socks and a few filters. I found myself near the main part of the city. This is where the vast majority of homeless services are found, so I looked at the local clock and finding it at around 8:30 a.m. With nothing better to do, I decided to head toward the library. I found several of the shelter residents already loitering around the doors. Unfortunately, the library doesn't open until 9, so I managed to roll a smoke. It was made from the leftovers of old cigarette butts pulled from public ashtrays and poured into a Ziploc bag. The library finally opened, which offered free internet access as well as a number of books by authors I enjoyed. Since I had no money even for public transport right now, I settled in a computer station for the next 2 hours, occupying my time playing online games and chatting on Facebook about one idiotic thing or another. Around 11 o'clock I got a tap on my shoulder. It was David, a homeless person I had met the night before. When I looked at him inquisitively, he asked me, "Want to come get some lunch?" I nodded and logged off. I found a few things out during my wanderings that really fascinated me. First of all, several of the local bakeries would throw out garbage bags containing nothing but bread and pastries with the word "free" scrawled across the bag in huge letters. David explained to me that this was considered a lucky day to eat lunch. While we ate the free bread, I decided to take the opportunity to speak with some of the other homeless people who were also joining in our findings. The sanest out of them was Cindy, who was 7 months pregnant. She told me how she had narrowed the father down to 5 different people. I had to stop and ponder the entire narrowing part down. What was she doing that had required her to sleep with so many men? Next there was Joseph. Joseph barely knew who he was most of the time, and he believed that I was his uncle Larry, who had apparently tried to molest him as a child. Then there was Kathy. Kathy was a little bit worse than the Joseph. She was arguing with the street sign because it wouldn't give her a Vegemite sandwich. I also met a few of the local Aboriginals who set up camp in the camping site down the road. Most of them had succumbed to alcohol as they were already passing around a bottle. I did a double take when I realised that they were drinking mouthwash. Mouthwash products contain a large amount of alcohol. Stores like Woolworths and Coles would sell a large bottle for around $5. Since this was cheaper than buying a bottle of alcohol and money was tight, they opted for this method. Once I finished my 3rd slice of bread, I decided to move on. It was about 2 o'clock and perhaps wandering the area might help. A job application was not out of the question either. While wandering the streets trying to find a place hiring, 2 guys on the side of the road got into an argument. I asked a person nearby what it was all about, and he told me to mind my own business, otherwise I might end up on the pointy end of a knife. Not long after, I saw the 2 men escorted by 3 policemen into a paddy wagon. Violence and fights are so common on the streets. You just have to get used to it and know when to get out of the way. I kept walking after this minor distraction to find a small cafe down the road looking for staff. I thought it was better than nothing, even though it was only a few hours a day at minimum wage. When I turned in my application, the manager looked at it and said, "Oh, you don't have a current address of your own. Why don't you go try working in a prison? Because that's where you belong." I was shocked at this response, as this was the first, but definitely not the last time I would be discriminated against due to the fact I don't have an address of my own. I told myself not to give up, so for the next few hours I decided to wander the streets hoping someone was willing to hire me. Around 6 o'clock I found myself standing in line with about 40 other people smelling of old unwashed clothes and body odour, waiting for the shelter doors to open. It turned out that the sooner you could get in, the better spot you could get. After all that, I was given a flat sheet, a badly beaten pillow, a pillowcase and a plastic container with a sticker labelled my name and date on it. The bed I was given was about 2 centimetres thick. Furthermore, it was encrusted with filth of all sorts. I tried not to think about it as I wrapped it up with the semi-clean sheet given me. I got a second chance to eat the light dinner offered, which was a large pot of noodles and scrambled eggs mixed in. After eating, I curled up on my mat in the middle of the room, right next to the person who later defecated himself in his sleep. The person on the other side of me had an obsessive-compulsive disorder that caused him to repeatedly write numbers on things all night in a frantic way. With a new environment, strange smells, and a strange neighbour, I settled into a restless sleep. Waking up wasn't the most fun. The morning alarm was the bright gym lights being turned on. They took a bit to charge up and then flooded the room with extreme brightness. Not one of my favourite ways to wake up. I still insisted in getting a shower. It made me shudder in fear when I entered. The mould had grown well beyond discoloration. There was no hot water, and the little hotel soaps given to us were supposed to last a week. I was out by 7:15. Being a Sunday, there was not much to do. Turns out the best bet to surviving a Sunday in summer was to share bottles of mouthwash, stolen cigarettes, and food scraps found in the streets between the homeless community.